Hi everybody, Tashi here from Pixie Mommy's Reborns. Happy Saturday. So I literally just have some babies plopped on the bed and I had a few minutes. So I'm just holding the camera in my hand and sitting on my bed. It's a little messy. You'll have to excuse that, but of course, I have my new addition here, which is Shay, sitting over there in her one of her little outfits that Ashley sent with her. It's the mint green shirt that says Little Smiler, and the little leggings. They're like a coral color, I think. And then she has like a denim headband in. And Manish is actually laying with his feet up and one of his arms laid over her leg, and he's kind of looking up at her. And then we have Frankie over there. She's just peeking out of the blanket. She's been hanging out there. I'll zoom in on her. She's been hanging out there for a few days, just in the corner of the bed over there, wrapped up. And I had Pippier out, my little Tink. I really enjoyed seeing Ashley welcome her baby Haven today. If you have not seen that box opening, you will definitely want to head on over to Baby Love Heart Smith and see Ashley's box opening. And her baby is pretty little as well, so it just got me thinking of Pippier, and I was like, oh, I just want to, play with her hair and see her for a few minutes. So she happened to be out. So anyways, hubby is out kind of late. He's on his way running some errands and picking up Gabe some McDonald's, and I knew I had a very short window of time before he comes in this evening. So I said, you know what? Let me come on and make a quick video to pop up on YouTube, because I am truly enjoying Shay. Beyond. I figured I would talk about that. But I'm feeling so happy. And as some of you may know who have been with my channel for a bit, it's been a rough few weeks for my family and stuff. And of course, Manish came home, is it about 2 weeks ago now, in the midst of all the chaos, which was a welcomed, he's pretty much spent every night with me. Well, he has spent every night with me since he's been home. Just kind of hanging out when everything settles down and I can relax and watch TV. And of course, I have, stolen moments with him and stuff. So he really brought me great joy right smack like in the middle of with what was going on. And eventually I'll kind of be able to probably share a little bit more, but just for the privacy of my family, and especially my children, who are, some of them, or one of them at least, is now kind of going into adulthood. One is an adult, and the other just turned 18. And then, of course, we have Destiny, who's 16, and Gabe, who is 10, to those of you that are not familiar with my children. So, and to those of you new, hello and welcome. So yeah, Shay here is the Maisie sculpt by Andrea Arcello, and I didn't misplace, but I don't have the piece of paper next to me that has our artist name. I don't, she's a Russian artist. It's a Russian name, and I don't know it off the top of my head. So I am just going to actually, let me move Mr. Manish. And I was in the middle of changing Manish. This is the onesie part of the outfit that I changed him into a few days ago on camera that had the suspenders, and it was so adorable. And this the onesie piece itself, because it has the buttons and the collar and stuff, looks just so cute on him. So I just wanted to enjoy him in that for a couple minutes. And yeah, that just I was just hanging out, and it kind of prompted me to make a video while I had a few minutes. So there he is. And here is Shay. Yes, look at you. She's such a happy girl. You're such a happy girl. She is like, I don't even think I have referred to her as a doll yet. I'm like, this baby, this kid, this child, like, she just has this amazing energy about her. It is nighttime here, so you can't even like see her beautiful blue eyes, but I'm zoomed in on her face now, but you can get an idea of how like bright and like realistic those eyes are. I would love to know exactly what kind of eye. I mean, I believe they're German glass, but like I'd like to know which ones, like exactly which ones. They're just the life in them, the life in her. You know, the way she's painted, the Maisie sculpt to begin with is just incredible, and the energy about her is just it's something else. Like, I have kind of yet to experience this, like that it's very hard to describe. It's, sorry if you hear my son yelling. I think probably my husband pulled up and he's like yelling out the window. Anyways, just, I don't know, her energy meshes with me so well. She's definitely got a lot of mischief in her. She's definitely like a high energy baby. You know, I mean, yes, ladies, I realize that, you know, they are dolls, and I'm talking, you know, it feels weird sometimes because I'm like, ugh, if somebody comes across my channel, or if, you know, someone's watching that, you know, maybe just found out about my hobby or something, and you hear me just talking like this, because for the most part, I'm talking to the Reborn doll community and others who collect Reborns and do the YouTubing, and we role play and we talk about, you know, bonding with a baby, and we treat them like babies. But, you know, no one, you know, we know that they're not, you know, really babies. I mean, that's probably a long, you know, well, it is a long topic subject, and it's something I've touched on before, and, you know, many of you have done videos on. In fact, Renee, over at Random Reborns, I know she has company, they're staying with them this weekend, and pretty sure that the reaction of her company, their first reaction to meeting her baby or babies there, I haven't, you know, she hasn't posted it yet. I assume that she'll probably do that after her company leaves, but I can't wait to see that. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. I'm assuming that they were probably well received, and I do think that, you know, sometimes it takes a little explaining to people that aren't familiar with Reborn dolls, and also just like, you know, the extent of what we go to on the YouTube. It, you know, it can look rather odd or extreme to a quote outsider. You know, as I just stopped myself as I was talking about Shay here, and talking about, you know, the energy she has, and, you know, how I'm connecting with her. And I was just about to say the mischief and all that. You know, I can imagine how this would sound to, you know, someone that is unfamiliar or someone that knows me in a different, you know, what's the word for it? Capacity, you know, a different, you know, place in life. You know, and it's definitely a subject I'm going to dive deeper into, you know. As many of you know, I haven't shared details, but I've asked you to pray for my daughter, Noelle, my 18-year-old daughter. And hang on, I'm just going to put Pippier up here next to next to Shay, so you can all see her too. But, you know, it's funny because, and I will have to do like a whole long video on this, but, you know, how do I say without, you know, disclosing personal stuff? You know, she's having some, you know, issues, and, you know, some also mixed with, you know, just turning 18, the desire to be self-sufficient on her own, things like that. But she's really, you know, not ready. And there are some things going on that I don't want to get into. But let's just back it up. Let's just talk about the basic teenage years and the teenager that is pushing and rebelling against their parents and not wanting to follow the rules, and, you know, pushing for, you know, just to not have to follow any rules in your home or answer to you in any way, So long story short, you know, some kids can be pretty crafty and manipulative. And, you know, my daughter actually attempted to use the doll collecting, for as far as me, as like a diversion. So when I, you know, would get on a subject like we need to work on this, you need to listen to us, you know, on this. Of course, I don't come out and say things like that. I mean, no kid would want to listen to them. But, you know, when we get on a subject about her doing the right thing and her plans for the future, she will then divert and say, you know, I didn't kind of realize that behind my back, she was making this huge deal of it because I have a YouTube channel and I have an Instagram page, and I'm posting and talking to all of you. So if, say, the therapist that we see and I go in and see with my daughters, you know, should be directed to pop on to, you know, any specific videos, I might look a little nutty. Like, you know, it's... Do you all understand what I'm saying? Like, it was something easily used that she was really trying to distract from, you know, attention off of what was going on with her. Now, of course, thank goodness, you know, the therapist that we have has been with our family for years. She knows me very well. I explained the hobby a little bit more. Even my parents, because she was, you know, kind of pulling that with Grammy and Grampy, and, oh, mom just totally, you know, lost it, and da-da-da-da. And, you know, I had to kind of do some explaining, and rightfully so, because not everybody that collects something, whether you collect porcelain dolls or, you know, cars, Matchbox cars, baseball cards, stamps, if you collect crystals, if you collect, some people collect the sugar gliders and they're into all the exotic colors and just, you know, anything. But you're not necessarily, you know, as far as this hobby, as far as the Reborns, you know, we've all made a built a community. I don't know how long this community has been here for, and I know that it's growing, but we do a lot of things like role playing and the way that we the terms that we use and things. We are really we pretty much realize that look, I shouldn't speak for everyone. I realize that when I come on in YouTube and vlog and my reborn doll collecting, I'm talking to other reborn doll collectors. I'm not growing a channel to draw the general public in and to go big with a huge like YouTube channel where you're reaching just everyone. It's just growing within the reborn doll community. I don't know if that makes sense, to you all. So again, when you're talking, you're not paying any mind to thinking, by the time you kind of get through your introduction and everything, most people have clicked off that are not interested in reborn doll collecting. Makes sense. Well, some, I mean, we do have people out there that stay and watch and waste their time just to leave negative comments and stuff. I really haven't had much, if any, of that, but why I don't really know. But anyways, so in a nutshell, I guess this turns into a topic, which is fine. It always does. I wind up rambling, and I would definitely love to hear all of your thoughts on this subject. As far as, I know some collectors that do so in private because they hold jobs and positions where they just can't chance putting their voice, their face, their name up here, with what we do with the role play and stuff, because it can be perceived as something that, it's not. People can take it seriously and think that, like say, a recent video, who'd I feed? The Twinkies. I had been in Berlin, and I'm pretending to feed Berlin a bottle, and I'm talking as if I'm feeding a baby a bottle. Well, to someone outside looking in, they don't know what's going on in my head. And if they haven't followed my channel or don't realize, or have actually been told otherwise, and hey, go look, I could look like I'm a real nut, and I think that this doll is a real baby, and I'm feeding it every 2.5 hours and changing its diaper, and and listen, I'm not laughing in a bad way if there are any collectors that do that, or people that take it to. There's extremes in every hobby, and in life in general, and I am not here to judge. That's not what I meant to say, but for me, I certainly do not spend all day pretending that these dolls are real and that I'm taking care of real babies all day. I have an entire life outside of reborn doll collecting that comes first, and this is simply my hobby. And yeah, I spend pretty much most of my free time that I have now doing it. It's what I enjoy, and I've made some very good friends, and I really feel like, why shouldn't you enjoy what you love, and in your free time? I think everybody needs that. It's important. But again, when I have chosen to come on YouTube, and I love it. I enjoy this. I love coming on and talking to you all. I love making the videos. I love that I have them to look back on at the different babies that came in, and what was going on, and that point of my collecting, because I feel myself going through stages and growing. as a reborn doll collector and as a YouTuber. And, you know, one day, a couple years from now, I'll look back on this video and say, oh, that's where I was at then. To me, it's cool. Obviously, you all know I love to chat. I love to get on topics. I love to share what I love. So I love to share, you know, the babies that I have. I am not a private collector. And I understand, and I perfectly well understand why there are some women and there are some ladies that do come on, but they don't ever show their face. You know, and they just stay, you know, low key and try to, you know, and there's reasons for that, whether they, you know, depending on what, you know, if you're out in the workforce, in the corporate world, in the medical field, it depends on where you are. You know, you don't want to chance, and you know, you can't go through life and have the attitude like, oh, well, too bad on me. And, you know, this is what I do on my private time. And if anybody doesn't like it, well, you know, screw them. You know, I mean, yeah, to an extent. I mean, I have that you know, feel that way to an extent. I'm a spitfire. But I'm not going to cut off my nose to spite my face. I'm also not a stupid person. And, you know, I certainly, if I was in a certain, you know, position career-wise, I would not chance it either. And then especially you see what goes on between in this community and channels and people trying to sabotage one another's lives. It goes past the doll collecting and the channels. I've seen that. I watched that from afar, but I saw that when I was first coming into the hobby. And wow, it's just, you know, you can't take a chance with your livelihood and how you support your family and, you know, et cetera. So it's not a matter of being ashamed or not wanting to stand up for yourself. It's a matter of common sense that, you know, the entire world is not necessarily educated on reborn doll collecting. You know, for me, I'm just used to, you know, I mean, look, everyone is not necessarily educated on, you know, alcoholism and addiction. And there are people that believe that that's a life choice and that, you know, that it's not really a disease, that it's not an illness. I get on and I talk about my journey in recovery and all that. I'm used to, just being honest and sharing, myself, the good and the bad. I feel like we can't fix what we don't acknowledge. There's always room for growth. And I think it's just wonderful to reach out to others that, don't know how to be forthcoming and they're, you know, not on the road to recovery, and they, you know, they're still in the stage of you want to hide, you want to cover up, you want to, you know, that sort of thing. So yes, I'm very open and honest. It's just how I've learned to be. You know, then I think to myself, you know, well, am I hurting myself in being that way and sharing what I share on my channel and freely just diving? I have dove right into the YouTube and the videos and the collecting without really stopping and thinking about, like, when that came up recently with my daughter and I realized that, you know, she was trying to manipulate people, and that was like I was like, whoa. You know, that I was not expecting that. And I was like, wow, it's, you know, it just was interesting. Now, look, of course, with something like that, you know, and like I said, thank goodness, you know, people do know me and realize, and, you know, with very little explaining, it's a non-issue. But that's because, again, people, know who I am, and know that I have not, in fact, gone totally nuts. Although I think a few people think it's nuts that I do this publicly, that I'm willing to risk it and do this publicly, as opposed to, okay, you want to collect dolls, but you're hopping on YouTube and you're on a completely public forum. But that's their opinion, and again, this is part of what I enjoy, and certainly I wasn't going to back down or stop what I was doing and allow my child to manipulate for her own reasons, which again were truly to divert. But man, can she sound convincing, like that she was so concerned, and anyway, but that's what teenagers in general, teenagers are teenagers. Any of you all that are parents and have teenagers or have lived through the teen years, even the best of teenagers can try you, for sure. And they can be very manipulative. And, I don't know a teenager that doesn't lie to some extent. It's human nature. It's a stage that, as human beings, kids go through, and, some can be more difficult than others. Obviously, I'm not complaining about my child or children in any way. Our main concern obviously is our daughter's well-being, and whatever, she flings my way, that's, it is what it is. It's not getting her anywhere. It's just, certain things can be hurtful, and it's been hurtful, for sure. But again, that's what you have to, endure as a parent, and you realize, that, somewhere inside, they do love you. They're all different. As far as, if you have multiple children, this, your kids' personalities can be very different, and what one is capable of, another just doesn't have it in their heart to do. That's the nature as well of human beings. So I guess I was kind of all over the place, and I'm sorry for that. I kind of got on a topic, which is an interesting one, of how we're perceived, but I'm looking deeper in, we've talked about it, and I talked about it on my channel, and, I know the quick response and the knee-jerk response, to say, screw it, like taking them out in public. You all know that I don't take my dolls out in public, and why, or to any of you that have been here. And I'm not just going to say, screw it, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not going to. I know that, in my town, we've been here many years. I'm a local business. Everyone knew, not everyone, but many people know me. I have, 4 children, well, one is grown and moved on, but 3, home, and, they have friends, parents. It would be embarrassing for them, for their friend's parent to bump into me in the store, and I have to hear that, oh, this one, Noelle's mom or Destiny's mom or Gabriel's mom was walking around in the store with a doll. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Everyone doesn't understand it, and I respect my children in that way. The YouTube's a little different. People have to seek it out, turn it on. It's just totally different. And again, I run a business, and I have to focus on that and be so, I probably enjoy to maybe see someone's reaction or to, once in a while, because usually I'm lugging 20,000 things anyway. I don't need something extra to lug. But I am not going to take that stand and that attitude oh, I'm just going to be brave and do what I want to do. It's not a matter of being brave. It's not it doesn't, if I'm making any sense, it's just a matter of making choices that are right for you. So the same thing when I'm talking about, coming on the YouTube and people accepting, I think that it deserves a little more thought as to our answers than just screw it, too bad, it's your hobby type of thing. I think that it would be something interesting to talk about people's reactions, how people perceive this, and what is the best way or things that we can do to explain, or perhaps not explain, but, what is the best way for us to react to others' reactions? Because I plan on being here for a long time, so I would like to know going forward as I have my channel up here, and as the years go by, I'm sure more and more people in my life will know about it, see it, and they could turn on in the middle of any one of my videos where I'm talking to all of you and really not thinking about someone else watching. So what do you all think about that? And, what can we do? All right, I'm going to cut it there so that I don't have to stitch videos together. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am loving Shay. I'm sorry I didn't talk more about her, but you'll see a ton more of her. I have not put this baby down. Have a great weekend, everyone. God bless.